Hello everybody, StarBow here with another Heart of the Swarm. Whoa, that's just like ingrained into my skull. With another STARBOW commentary. This is going to be a 1 vs 1 Zerg versus Protoss on Neo Destination, a 2-player STARBOW map. Before I get too ahead of myself, I want to tell you all that I am streaming today. Going to start around 1, 2, or 3, the usual Pacific time. And I'm going to actually have a poll on my Facebook and Twitter asking you guys what you want to see. That seemed to work out pretty well last time. You guys got to see exactly what you wanted. We all had a lot of fun. Took down Sonic, that motherfucker, in Bashi, so that's all good. Anyway, I'm in the top left as Psy, the pink Zerg, and my opponent is Kaos in the bottom right as the red Protoss. Cool thing about STARBOW, whether you're playing on ladder or not, which this is actually not a ladder STARBOW game. This guy just found me late at night, and he's like, hey, let's play. I'm sick of all these newbie diamond players and all that kind of stuff. But the cool thing about STARBOW is you get to choose your own colors, and of course I choose pink because that's just, you know, how I roll. I'm awesome like that. But we haven't seen a Protoss game in a while. I know when I first started casting STARBOW, the players were limited, but STARBOW is growing moderately, at a moderate rate, and a lot more players are popping up. So this expansion is going to be going down, and this mineral patch, remember, as I said on that last match, it definitely changes the way the map works. So we'll see if I've learned my lesson from that Terran game you guys watched and I start to mine that. But who knows? Drone Scout going to be going out, and already I feel like I play this game better than I play Heart of the Swarm just because I Drone Scout. I never Drone Scout in Heart of the Swarm. I don't know why. It was always just so selfish. I wanted the drone to stay in mine, but because you encounter diminishing returns after 9 drones, I don't feel so bad drone scouting. Plus, you can usually retreat with it and saturate your natural with it eventually. So this guy is very important. It's worth losing, you know, 50 minerals or whatever you would lose for it. So we are going to see the Nexus first. And, you know, this tells me, obviously, I don't really have to worry about early aggression, especially with the Forge. When we see the Forge, we might want to look out for cannons, but the Nexus came before the Forge, so I really don't see cannons coming into play, you know, around my natural or whatever. So the Nexus first basically tells me I don't necessarily have to get my gas right away for Hydras, because any Zealot pressure or Corsair pressure he tries is going to be very delayed. So I might even go for a quick third. You know Psy Man? I am Psy Man. I might go for a quick third instead of the gas and a Hydra Den, which is what I do in a more standard game. So this is kind of cool. These photon cannons produce so slowly and have less life. They're not as powerful, I'd say, than in Heart of the Swarm. Yeah, sure. And you can actually whittle them down about half of their life with just a drone. So we are going to see I'm taking my third before getting my gas. So that's as a result of scouting. So if I didn't scout, I wouldn't have that economy knowledge, and, you know, this game would be more of a fight. I don't know what it's going to be right now. I kind of forget what happened. See, look at that. 47 life on that cannon. That cannon is just ready to die. I took down 25% of its life with just the drone. And that's assuming the shields have a chance to recharge, man. If I could do that with like 6 links following it up, that'd actually be really cool. But this guy getting lots of scouting in. Looks like Kaos is just now starting his gas. I'm working on saturating my 2 bases. Obviously, my saturation isn't going to be amazing if I'm building 3 hatcheries. But once these queens come out, which were actually delayed by that extra hatchery, once the queens come out, I should be looking pretty. I'll have tons of larvae to make all kinds of drones. He's got the 2 K Darren crystals to help him chrono boost for some production, and it looks like he is going to go straight for economy, chrono boosting those nexuses. Finally, my gas coming up, and we have a pretty standard game where I'm going to struggle to maintain this base and, you know, match his tech while, you know, he does his whole Protoss thing. So he has a second gas coming up as opposed to my first one just now coming up. But that's just kind of the nature of the game. Zerg tend to get their gases a little bit later compared to, you know, Protoss and Terran. I think that's a little bit like Heart of the Swarm. Who knows? But this guy's just kind of chilling up here. The reason I'm patrolling him is so he's not annoying in the... I think I just killed a Zealot there, actually. No, I was checking for a Zealot. Here comes the Zealot. And, oh, I'm going to run right by it. Oh, that's a shame. That's why you watch the minimap. The Zealot might even get some kills in on some drones. Looks like I am transferring a few drones. If we check out the harvesters now, he is up 28 to 22. That's because these guys aren't registered yet, I think. Maybe they are. But I'm going to be dodging these drones. Lots of drones, or the Zealot. Lots of drones on the way. This guy's still just kind of chilling. And the Zealot looks like he's going to get trapped. He's going to get trapped by the erupting queen. Erupt from the nethers to trap the Zealots. Now the harvester count is evening out 28 to 30, but you got to remember, I say this because it's very important. You guys are probably getting sick of hearing it. Have I seen this Stargate yet? You got to remember, each drone over, or each worker over your number of mineral patches is diminishing returns. So while he may have tons more workers, or just a few more workers than me, that doesn't mean he's got more mineral economy, just because mine are more evenly distributed. So that's something to take into account when looking at the harvester count. And I think a lot of Protoss and Terran players, they just saturate the shit out of these bases when they don't necessarily need to. So we can see, look, 33 to 36, but I've got 400 more minerals per minute. It's fluctuating, but you get the idea. And that's because I have my workers distributed over 3 bases. So I have scouted the starports, I believe. Yes, I have scoured the starport, Stargate, whatever the fuck it's called. My Hydra Den has just completed. I want to start my Hydra Speed as soon as possible. Evolution Chamber comes out as well. And the reason I get an Evolution Chamber as well as the Hydra Den is because one geyser gets you so far in this game. You really want to start the +1 Hydra attack upgrades. It helps spend your gas, and we are seeing muscular metabolic boost as well. It helps spend your gas, and +1 attack is just really good on Hydras because they fire so fast. This guy is still just kind of running around. I saw the Twilight Council. I haven't seen the Templar archives though. So the Twilight Council pretty much tells me he's going to be going High Templar. There's a possibility of Dark Templar as well. So I need to be on the lookout for that. So look at the harvesters once again. My economy is still ahead of his, despite him having more harvesters. My mineral economy, just because, like I said, oversaturation equals diminishing returns. He is able to snipe one Overlord. This Hydra's like, I don't want to protect that Overlord. That was Frank, and Frank was an asshole, terrible neighbor. I'm just gonna ignore him and just do funny stuff. Realizing he's still only on 2 base, I'm gonna be securing up my 3rd base. It is the most vulnerable of the bases, obviously. I have another macro hatch on the way. Lair is complete. The lair is likely going to equal lurkers eventually. I tend to stay away from mutas against Protoss just because Corsairs are so powerful. Lairs also allow for the pneumatized carapace, which is actually pretty useful against Corsairs. Helps you keep your overlords alive. 3 spines going up here. This base is definitely oversaturated, but that's okay. You can always transfer some drones. The main base actually is a bit lacking. Corsairs now flying into the 3rd, see if they can do some more damage to these overlords. Meanwhile, I'm pushing out with a small force of Hydras and Lynx, just trying to contain him, contain the outside of his base. We have a drone working on this mineral patch here, and it looks like he's throwing down a lot of gateways. He's got that Templar archives up. We don't see any storm, so he might just be using that as a gas sink. He's floating a lot of money. He needs to really start throwing down those gateways. He might just be using these for Archons, but these Corsairs getting a little bit of damage in. This is basically my tactic to use against Corsairs, is get 2 spores and float all my overlords in between them. But as you can see here, it's not working out so well because the spores aren't complete. These Hydras are now running back to try to stop these Corsairs. Such an annoying unit. I think they're more reasonable than Phoenix though, because they don't actually have a lift to just ruin Hydras completely. And I don't know. I wish they had their disruption web still. That'd be cool. Viper Nest coming out. Now, Viper Nest can obviously mean 2 things, so it looks like he did go for the DT route. Viper Nest can mean 2 things. How many kills does this guy have? Only 3 kills. It can mean a quick hive, or it can mean, obviously, Vipers. So we'll see what I choose to do with that. Finally able to take down this Dark Templar. He did a little bit of damage, not too much. Harvesters are still dead even, and waiting to get my guys back on the minerals. So we've got 12, 15, and 16. This needs some gas going. This has some gas going. So I am sitting pretty as well as far as economy goes. Kaos really needs to get something done soon. Oh, and he's neglecting his Corsairs. Not quite +1 on my Hydras. Almost there. Range is on the way. So I don't think I can make any kind of substantial push without range, especially when he's got High Templar just sitting here. Storm isn't being researched though. He hasn't researched Storm. He's just got High Templar sitting there. Is he going to make them Archons or what? The thing is, I don't know that he doesn't have Storm. 4 Overseers just because he's got those Dark Templar out. Good protection at my 3rd base. Still looking pretty economy-wise. And I'm actually surprised this isn't higher. I wonder how accurate that is. I feel like it can't be that accurate. Maybe it is. Maybe diminishing returns aren't as bad as I thought it was. But anyway, moving in, seeing lots of Zealots and Archons. So it looks like he is just going to use them for the purpose of Archons. 3 Vipers on the way, as well as Abduct. Group Spine still not complete. Able to snipe that Archon, though. Zealot Legs not yet complete. Once he gets the Zealot Legs, he can outrun these Hydras. So, of course, I want the Overseers on top of my army at all times just to avoid any DT shenanigans. So, lots more going on here. 2 more hatcheries on the way. Of course, he's going to be scouting this with a patrolling Corsair. And I really like this use of patrol. Basically, patrol the 2 bases that they might have. So, like, if I had an Overlord, I'd patrol here and here. And now he's moving out on the field. I know he's doing this move, but I don't think I can stop it. I don't yet have Ensnare energy. I do catch a few of his units out in the field. These Zealots going to be going down pretty fast. These Vipers now ensnaring a group of Zealots, which reduces their attack speed and movement speed by 30%. Meanwhile, he has 6 Zealots taking down these hatcheries, and I'm going to be able to kite these Zealots with the use of Ensnare. So that's actually, it's a really cool ability, and it's starting to show up more in my games, as you'll see as I begin to cast. Forced to cancel these 2 hatcheries, or oh yeah, I hope I canceled them anyway. Yeah, I think I did because I just made a bunch of hydras. But check it out, it allows you to kite zealots, which you would normally not be able to kite because of their speed. And it's really cool, and it's working wonders, as you can see here. I don't have a lot of hydras, but they're still able to get a ton of value against these zealots that last for 15 seconds game time, which is, you know, about 10 seconds in real life, which is still substantial. It gives your hydras plenty of time to do what they need to do and attack and move speed by 30%. So many more hydras on the way, 2 more drones on the way. They're likely going to be rallied over here, and it looks like Kaos is really realizing he needs a 3rd base. More zealots on the way. He's got +1 attack. I've got +2 attack about halfway through. He's just going to be charging them on through. Meanwhile, these Vipers are consuming my hatcheries to get more energy, and more ensnares going down. A couple missed ensnares. The thing about ensnares, the projectile is very slow, so it's difficult to aim properly, but I did hit the majority of the zealots, as you can see here, and I'm going to be able to just kite around. He's saying, okay, I can't chase your hydras, I need to just go for your economy, so he's going to go run some into the main. Some of them getting blocked by queens. I am just blocking the shit out of his zealots by queens today. So many hydras, 15 more hydras on the way, and this is what a good macro will do for you. You can see I'm spending my money relatively well. Possibly get a lurker dead to try to spend the gas, maybe transition into mutas, something like that. If you don't get lurkers and you don't get any kind of gas unit as Zerg, you end up being mineral starved, which might give me some incentive to take this base as well instead of this base, just because it's safer and it'll balance out the gas to mineral ratio. But as we can see, moving out with a heavy Hydra force. Do I have any Vipers alive still? I should. I don't think they... Yeah, it looks like they were consuming some more of these buildings, or I hope they were anyway. I think 3 Vipers might be a decent amount against this number of Zealots, because it's not always easy to hit those ensnares. But I think, like, later on, you don't need so many. You may need just maybe 1 or 2. I don't know. Abduct is an option as well. It only has 7 range compared to the 9 range that it has in Heart of the Swarm. But we can't see his army getting away from him a little bit. And there's going to be an Abduct on the Archon, taking it down in just 1 volley. So that's 100 minerals and 300 gas at the cost of just a single Abduct. So this 4th base is going to be up and running soon. Looks like he's actually got a... I don't think I've scouted these at all. He's got a 3rd and 4th base. I haven't scouted them because I feel like my mindset right now was he's got so much pressure with all these Hydras, there's no way he's going to try to take these bases. But as you can see, he does. And he just now finished his Storm, which is going to be vital against these Hydras. He really should have researched the Storm a lot earlier, way earlier, and foregone the Archons. Archons I don't think are very powerful against Zerg. I think it's more of a, you know, desperation unit when your Templar are about to die. But it remains to be seen. They're very powerful against mutas, I will say that much. So we've got some massive saturation going on down here, still very gas heavy, and we are seeing a transition into mutas, so that was basically my way of using the gas. And I realized eventually he's going to have to get Storm, and mutas against a small number of Archons and no Dragoons and hardly any Corsairs, because most of his Corsairs have been killed, are very powerful in sniping Stormers. We aren't seeing any Lurkers, however, so maybe that would have been a better choice. But both of us nearing max supply. Now it's kind of cool how it takes so long to reach max supply in this game compared to Heart of the Swarm. Units just cost less food is the reason behind that. The economy is a little bit different. Sniping this base, obviously he can't defend it. There's just so many Hydras. He's probably waiting for some Storm to charge up too. He's only got 4 Templar. Oh my god, he's got 9 Templar. That is so many Templar. Does he have the regeneration upgrade? No, he doesn't. So he's not going to be able to Storm as much as he'd like because they don't regen as fast. And I do see this army approaching. I'm going to be running away from it. I realize he's probably going to go for the 3rd, but and I don't really want to engage completely. I basically want to try to ensnare something, missing both my ensnares. I basically want to... Oh, storming his own units, missing a couple storms. As I was saying, I want to ensnare and kind of kite. Oh my god, these Templar are so scary. This Hydra Ball is so scared right now. Nice ensnare though, picking up so many Zealots. Another beautiful ensnare. These Zealots just can't keep up. Obviously the Templar are much slower than all of these units. And these mutas going in and trying to pick off these Templar, getting 1 Templar, getting 2 Templar, but the Archon's just melting the mutas. Oh, but he's missing all the Storms. I don't have any more Vipers left. The Storm going down once again, trying to move them out of the way. A couple mutas being rallied in. But Jesus, man, those mutas were not well controlled by me. Looks like he's going to be sending some more Zealots into the 4th. Meanwhile, I'm going to go for his 3rd. So basically, Archons melt mutas, as you saw there. So it's kind of a bad play for me to just right-click the High Templar and queue it up. These Spines doing some pretty good work here at the 4th. If nothing else, they're going to delay him from attacking my drones for quite a while. It's really worth it just to throw down this many Spines at a base that you know is going to be vulnerable. I can't make up my mind. Do I want to go defend or do I want to go to attack? Looks like I'm going to send the Mutas back to defend and kill the base with my Hydras. And although these cannons are in the way, you need to get up on the high ground. Cannons just aren't as powerful. Hydras are so strong against cannons, so strong against any armored unit, really. This base looks like it's about to be properly defended with all these Spines on the way. He's got some drones rallying, some probes rallying, lots of zealots. This is basically his last wave, but no, it's not going to happen. Able to take down Kaos. Kaos, he leaves the game saying, I'm way too good. No, I'm not way too good. I probably just played this more than him, but I gotta say, despite, or in spite of the Mutas flying in and dying to those Archons, like I said, Archons are very good. I played pretty well. The Viper ensnares actually work really well against someone who focuses on mass zealots, and there's just a lot of multitasking going on. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that game. ZvP, reminder, I am going to be streaming again, so that's going to be it. Thanks for watching.